G'day folks, welcome to this snapshot of a Royal Marines assault on some German improved positions. This is taking place early at 7 a.m. turn on the 7th of June 1944. So it's about 24 hours after the initial landings. What's happened is the Ox and Bucks have landed here in their gliders. They've seized Horsa and Pegasus bridges. They've been reinforced by the 3rd and 5th Brigades of the 6th Airborne Division. Now those airborne troops have held the line here. You can see their mines, entrenchments, improved positions, and they've held off this German attack from the 21st Panzer Division, which has enabled the Marines to arrive and pass down this road and cross the bridges and move on to their objectives unmolested by those Germans who've passed through quite easily. They have now moved into position and have started their assaults, but I'm going to zoom in on the action and show you how this all works. Now the Marines are peculiar units. They are one-step units. They only activate when the Royal Marines counter comes out, so they don't get the sort of numerous activations that other companies potentially do get. And they've got a relatively low firepower value, only 3, but a good troop quality value and a slightly better assault rating, which means they're really designed for assaults. They're very vulnerable. I mean, a single hit from an armoured unit will often take them out instantly, but there are just so many of them as well. So they can really assault en masse against these German positions. So, assaults are conducted one hex at a time. Although there's a lot of commando units, a lot of stacks around this hex, they only attack one hex to one hex, and they do that through a series of individual assaults which are resolved completely before moving on to the next hex to assault. So these guys go, resolve it completely, then these guys, and so forth. You don't have multi-hex assaults. Now, the assault begins by checking the prerequisites for all these units, ensuring they're not entrenched, don't have IPs on them, not suppressed, and so forth, have at least one step adjacent to the defender, and be assaulting an enemy stack. So we'll start here with these guys. Now, these guys have already assaulted and they've taken some cohesion hits, but they still have the potential to do some damage. The first thing we do is a series of bravery checks. Every assaulting unit needs to make a troop quality check, which is modified by the best enemy defense. Let's have a look what we've got here. We have a +1, a 0. So it's going to be a 0 modifier by the Germans, and they have, of course, a -1. So it's a -1. Well, actually, you subtract their own. So you subtract -1, so it's a +1 troop quality modifier, which is 7 modified to 8. So an 8 or less, they pass. Top unit, pass. Middle unit, passes. Bottom unit, fails. So we'll only have 2 of these commando units. They're not participating with their cohesion hits, so it'll just be these guys and these guys. We then go through to check if there's an artillery park in the hex. There isn't, so don't worry about that step. Then the defender performs opportunity fire. So let's see how they go. I'm just going to move these aside. Open this up so we can see what's there. So they are in an improved position, which increases their troop quality rating by 1. So they will opportunity fire on a 4 + 1, 5 or less, fail. And the guys below them are not in an improved position, just 3 or less, 9, they fail. So there's no opportunity fire. The assaulting units, 2 of them, are still healthy. There are no 0-step units defending. They would be eliminated at this stage. So we get the defender to decide whether they are standing or running, and they're going to stand their ground. They're in a decent defendable hex here. The attackers, they look over at the 716th Infantry Division Command, and they have 6 command points, and they've been using these basically to pass these assault troop quality checks. We could burn them down. So there's a choice here. The attackers can look at this command and say, well, they don't have many command points left, we can try and burn them, or they could just roll to fire. So they either charge, where the defenders make this troop quality check, or they fire and use their assault rating. Because they're in good defensive terrain, I'm just looking at this now. It's basically a negative two modifier because of the hedgerows. The commandos, I think, will need a 2 or less to hit those defenders. And there's a lot of them firing, so I reckon they can build up those cohesion hits. So let's try just to fire with these commandos. So first of all, the defenders each get to fire. This is a 2-step unit, so they get a troop quality company bonus check, and they succeed. So they're firing now at 3, 4, 5 or less on these commandos, who incidentally are also in hedgerows. So it's 5 minus 3 minus 1 is 2 or less. And they get to fire twice using their firepower rating and then their assault rating. So 3 is a miss, and now 4 plus 2 for the company bonus is 6, minus 3 is 3 or less. It's a 2. So 2 small arms fire on the commandos, which is an unarmored target, is a possible suppression. They will roll troop quality and they pass, so they're not suppressed. The AA guns below them are a 1-step unit, so they get no company bonus. They fire once with 3 and once with their assault value, which is also 3 yellow. Modified by terrain and the commandos, so minus 3 is 0 to hit, and a 0 to hit is miss and miss. Now the commandos get to fire, and each of those assaulting units can check for company bonus. They're 1-step units, so they don't get that, and they're basically rolling twice. And because their assault rating is coloured, they use their assault rating twice. You can see that little red 4 there means you use that value twice instead of their firepower value when assaulting. So starting with these guys, they have -1 because of this cohesion hit, so 3 firing on this infantry unit up top here. 3 plus 1 minus 1 minus 2 is basically 1 or 0 to hit, and they get 2 rolls. That's a miss, and that's a miss. Second unit is slightly better. They have a 4, again, +1 -1 -2 is 2 or less, a miss, and a hit. Again, small arms 2 on an infantry is a possible suppression. As I said, these guys really want to be suppressed, so they're going to spend a command point to automatically pass that. Now, there are defenders left, so the assaulters can choose to continue if they want. And there's up to 2 rounds of assault combat. That's 1 round done. If the attackers decide to continue, we return back to deciding whether they'll assault, fire, or charge. And I like their chances of assault firing, so let's try and do that again. We don't have opportunity fire, we skip straight to the defending fire step. These guys check their company bonus, 5 or less, and they fail. So it's just a 5 minus 3 is 2 or less on those Marines, a miss, and a hit. A 1 is a possible suppression. They fail their company bonus. So these first group of commandos is suppress, and in the second round there'll only be 1 unit firing. We've got this unit here as well. 3 or less, needing a 0 actually, so 3 minus 3 is 0, and needing a 0, fail. The commandos then fire 4 and 4 on the infantry with a -2 modifier for terrain, so 2 or less. It's a 1, another possible suppression, which they will spend a command point to pass, and another fire, which is a failure. That is just 1 stack of those commandos, and they're now done. That's 2 rounds of assault combat out of the way. Oh, sorry, they're in a town hex, not hedgerow, but it's the same modifier. They're done, and we can now move on to the next stack, and we can continue that throughout these stacks. In fact, what I should have done first is sent some mortifier over to barrage these units, so I might do that next before commencing with the next stack. But that gives you an idea of how assaults work. Now that the 716th Infantry Division command points are down to 4, these guys are starting to think about charging. I think I'll still do some fire combat because there's a stack of 4 commandos here. so they can fire, and hopefully wear down those defenders. But that is how assaults work in the greatest day of the Grand Tactical Series.